Hi my treelings! In today's video, I'll be doing a rating guide on every survivor in Forsaken. So let's start off with Noob. Anyways, let's get into it. Also, I'll be using the VIP Noob skin because I think it looks cool. I think I can win this round. Since Noob is a survivalist, you should try your best to survive and utilize your abilities. Only use your Bloxy Cola when you think the killer is gonna start chasing you, or when the killer misses an attack. I usually just use my slate skin for the XP and money, but if you are a beginner, only use it when the killer misses their ability. Also, the cola gives you speed 1. The Ghost Burger Docent make you completely invisible, and you are still visible. But if the killer uses ability that spots you using the Ghost Burger Docent, let them spot you. Also, during Last Man Standing, it will make you undetectable for 10 seconds. You don't need to conserve your stamina that much, but it's always helpful too. Noob isn't exactly the best for starters, but once you get the hang of him, he's really good. Unways on 2. Time for Elliot. Since Elliot is a support, what you should do is try not to get into a chase with the killer, and if you do, try your best to conserve stamina. Take these into mind since you have below average health. Also, they did nerf Elliot's Rush Hour, so when activated it makes a noise. Also gives you slowness after using it. Try to heal your teammates from afar so you don't get caught doing so. Also, avoid going into crowds of people unless you're almost dead to save yourself. So as Elliot, all you need to do is heal, run, and do generators. I'll cut to the important parts. Healing from afar. Also make sure you heal people who are more low and more important to the team. Making sure they eat my pizza. Tried healing him. Also, if they don't take your heal, don't run up to them to try and make them. Last Man Standing time. Watch as I try to conserve stamina and juke. Messed up that juke. Let my guard down. He got me there. Anyways, time for Shedlesky is a sentinel, which means you should be actively fighting the killer, or trying to every time your slash is off cooldown. I'd say Shedlesky is the perfect survivor for starters, since he can stun the killer and heal himself. Just try to aim, unlike me. Also, if you ask me, Shedlesky is a better builderman. If you're using your chicken, only use it when you're below 50 health, and the killer is not chasing you, or the killer is stunned. The only real downside is the long cooldown, but other than that, I'd say he's good if you can hit your slashes. Also, if there's an Elliot or two, don't use your chicken unless needed. If there's a guest or a different sentry, then make sure that you're close by for backup. I used chicken here because it was needed. Going to stun the killer. I missed. And I'm low again. Chicken. Gonna go try to stun the killer again. Success. Yuch. Gonna try to stall. NVM, we got this in the bag. Time for I have to time on LVL 100, and let me tell you, they're really skill-based. You want to use ritual in a secretive place, so the killer can't guess where you will respawn. When filling up your meter, I would recommend trying to backstab the killer twice. If you can't do that, then try to use the crouch and stab for the first stab, and regular stab for second stab, and the crouch and stab for third stab. Now I'm not the best at using to time on mobile, so bear with me. Stabbed a minion and took damage. I'm gonna try not to die. Missed that so bad. Juking him. There's not much more to be said about Tuo time. So on to 007 is one of my fav survivors to play as. Since Kulgui has a long cooldown, only use it when needed. Why I used it here. I would recommend making sure your clone is in Pathfind, that's what I find best. Like Ghost Burger, using Clone Docent make you invisible, just slightly less visible. If LMS, try deploying a clone, then use CO Olgui to increase your chances of winning. I'd say 007 is a perfectly balanced survivor, also he is a survivorist. Since the killer was AFK, I can't show you any real action. So on to I'll be using the Oh No skin because it's epic. Also, quick shout out to all the people who were in this server, they are so nice. Builderman is like a worse Shedlesky, but that doesn't mean he's bad. He can place a sentry to slow down and damage the killer. He can also place a dispenser to heal himself and his teammates 1 health per second. A custom building area warning for this skin. I decide to place my dispenser by this corner. Running away. There you have it, that's pretty much the basics of Builderman. But now it's time for... I suck at using Dussaker, so don't judge me too hard. I do know one thing: if you wanna master him, practice on Elliot first. I see him as a much harder to play Elliot. Also, when using spawn protection, try to stand still and not move so you don't mess up the force field. I suck at using Plasma Beam. Also, he has like no speed. So try to conserve stamina. If you're in a chase, don't use any of your abilities since they will slow you down. That's all you need to know. Talking to nice people. Anyways, now it's time for...
I see one of them.
Now, I don't use TAF often, but I think you should find a hotspot for survivors and killers. And that's where you should focus your traps on. Like what I'm doing here. If you're on a map with little to no hotspots, try placing traps where people usually juke the killer. New subscriber smiley face. Here is what you should do when being chased. Placing another trip mine. Got him. Shout out to this guy. When being chased, lead them to your traps, but don't make your traps too obvious. That's all you need to know about TAF. Last but not least, time for... For chance, you should try to gamble the gun when you spawn. But make sure the gun is at 3, since then it has a better chance of shooting. You shouldn't gamble while in chase since you might get a weakness debuff. If your weakness are really stacking, use hat fix it resets your weakness debuffs to 0. Don't be greedy and use stat reroll over like 90 health. Make sure you have shift lock on when trying to shoot. Time for the examples. I won't use stat reroll again since I'm over 90 health. Bam! Miss sad face. That miss costed me the whole game. Well, that's it for today's video. Saya in the next one.